The fluorescent lights of the office building had always flickered with a monotonous hum, but on that fateful morning, they shone with a cold finality. I remember it all too well. The crisp sound of the phone ringing in the early hours of a gray Monday, the shrill beep that shattered the stillness of my routine. For 15 years, I had dedicated every ounce of my being to this company. Long nights, weekend sacrifices, and a relentless drive to excel. I had poured my heart and soul into every project, every report, every presentation. Yet, in the blink of an eye, everything changed. That morning, my boss, a man whose approval I had sought and whose criticism I had feared, simply walked into my cubicle. His eyes were hard and distant, and without a word, he slid a sealed envelope across my desk. I opened it slowly, feeling as if time itself had come to a standstill. Inside, in stark, unembellished letters, were the words that would rewrite my life. Effective immediately, you are terminated. I sat there, stunned, as the reality sank in. After 15 years of unwavering devotion, I was cast aside without explanation. The shock was raw and painful. But beneath it all, a spark of something unexpected ignited within me. In that moment of utter betrayal, I realized that I was no longer a victim. I was the architect of my own comeback. I would transform this rejection into the fuel for a revenge so calculated and fierce that no one would ever doubt my worth again. The day unfolded like a surreal dream. I remember the cacophony of whispered conversations in the office, the stunned silence of colleagues who had grown accustomed to my dedication. In the corridors, the usual friendly nods and casual greetings had been replaced by furtive glances and murmurs of disbelief. I could almost feel the weight of their judgment, the collective shock of seeing someone who had been a pillar of the company reduced to this, a solitary figure with a sealed envelope and a heart full of questions. Determined not to let despair overtake me, I left the building that day with my head held high, though the wound of betrayal was still raw. I walked briskly through the rain-slicked streets, the urban chill mingling with the sting of rejection. Every step I took was both an act of defiance and a promise, a vow that I would not be defined by this moment. That night, in the confines of my modest apartment, I began to plan. I spread out every scrap of evidence I had gathered over the years. Performance reviews, accolades, even the quiet thank you notes from clients. I had spent so long proving my worth that I knew I possessed a hidden strength. With trembling hands and a determined heart, I opened an old notebook and started to sketch a blueprint for my future. A future where my boss's callous dismissal would be transformed into my greatest triumph. I vowed to build an empire of my own making, one that would serve as a resounding rebuke to those who underestimated me. In the weeks that followed, the spark of defiance grew into a burning ambition. I immersed myself in research, studying everything, from modern business strategies to the psychology of revenge. Late into the night, when the city had quieted down and only the hum of distant traffic remained, I would pore over countless articles, case studies, and success stories of those who had risen from the ashes of betrayal. My mind, once clouded by sorrow, now buzzed with possibilities. I began to connect with individuals who shared a similar fire, a network of former colleagues, industry experts, and even rival business professionals who had once felt crushed by corporate injustice. In hushed tones over encrypted chats and late-night phone calls, we exchanged ideas and strategies. I realized that I was not alone in my quest for vindication. There was a whole undercurrent of ambition waiting to break free from the chains. of an oppressive system. One particular conversation with an old mentor, a sharp-minded strategist named Daniel, stands out in my memory. We met at a secluded cafe on the outskirts of the city, a place where the noise of corporate life faded into the background. Over cups of strong black coffee, Daniel looked me square in the eyes and said, "You've been given a gift, though. It may not seem so now. This termination is your ticket to a future you've always dreamed of. But to build it, you must be ruthless, meticulous, and utterly unapologetic." His words resonated deeply, igniting in me the resolve to channel every bit of hurt into a well-crafted plan for revenge. I began to outline every detail of my strategy. First, to gather irrefutable evidence of my worth and the company's mismanagement. Second, to secure alliances with those who had the power to challenge the status quo. And third, to use my dismissal as the catalyst for launching a new venture that would eclipse everything I had ever known. The following months were a blur of activity. I quit my job, leaving behind a legacy of excellence and a trail of questions that my former boss would soon come to regret. I set up meetings with former colleagues, some of whom were eager to join me in a venture that promised not only financial success, but a chance to challenge the very system that had betrayed us all. We spent countless hours in rented offices and coffee shops, brainstorming ideas and drafting business plans on whiteboards that squeaked under the pressure of our ambition. I remember one particularly rainy afternoon, as thunder rolled in the distance and the cafe buzzed with hushed excitement. I met with Sarah, a former team leader who had once admired my work ethic. With her sharp intellect and a keen eye for design, Sarah became my first partner in this bold new chapter. "We're not just building a business," she said, her voice steady and determined. "We're building a statement. Let's show them that loyalty and hard work are worth more than any hollow dismissal." We decided to launch an online platform, a digital space that would combine our industry expertise with a fresh, innovative approach to customer service. Every element was designed to be a testament to the years of devotion we had poured into our careers, and every pixel of the website was a declaration of our intent to rise above corporate betrayal. The early days were challenging. We encountered technical glitches, skeptical investors, and the nagging uncertainty that comes with any bold endeavor. Yet, each setback only strengthened our resolve. Late nights turned into early mornings as we ironed out every detail, from the website's design to the logistics of our supply chain. In these moments, I often recalled that fateful morning of my dismissal, a moment that had, in its own brutal way, freed me to pursue something far greater. As our project began to take shape, I made sure to document every step of our journey. I kept detailed journals of our brainstorming sessions, recorded every conversation with potential investors, and meticulously archived every triumph and setback. These records were not only proof of our commitment, but would later serve as the foundation for the story of our revolution, a story that would inspire countless others who had been crushed by the weight of corporate injustice. The days following, our initial brainstorming sessions blurred into a frenetic rhythm of activity. Every morning, as the sun filtered through the dusty blinds of our small rented office, I would wake with a singular thought. This was the beginning of my resurgence. In the wake of betrayal and dismissal, I had resolved to build something that would not only restore my pride, but also redefine my future. Sarah and I, now committed partners in this new venture, spent countless hours poring over market research, drafting business plans and sketching out ideas on a whiteboard that creaked under the pressure of our ambition. The space was alive with energy. The walls, once bare and forgotten, were soon plastered with colorful charts, sticky notes bearing key ideas, and even candid photographs of our early meetings, a testament to our shared determination. One rainy afternoon, as heavy droplets cascaded down the window pane, Sarah leaned over the table and said, "Look, we've been at this for hours. But every time we hit a roadblock, we find a new way forward. This isn't just about business. It's about showing the world that our worth isn't defined by one cruel moment." Her words resonated deeply. I could almost feel the spark of the old fire reigniting inside me, a fire that had once been nearly extinguished by betrayal. We decided to focus on launching an online platform that would serve as our flagship venture. The idea was to create an interactive, sleek website where we could offer a curated selection of products and services, all symbolizing the values of dedication, resilience, and retribution. With Sarah's artistic flair and my meticulous attention to detail, we began designing every element of the platform. Every font, every color scheme, every micro-interaction on the website was chosen to evoke a sense of defiance and renewal. We even decided to integrate subtle references to our personal journey, small Easter eggs for those who would look closer. A watermark in the footer read, "From Ashes to Ascension," a constant reminder of where we came from and where we were headed. No empire is built in isolation, and I soon realized that to make our vision a reality, I needed to form alliances with individuals who shared my passion and, more importantly, my disdain for corporate betrayal. I began reconnecting with old colleagues, some of whom had once silently endured the injustices of our former workplace. I organized secret meetings in quiet coffee shops and booked dimly lit conference rooms in modest hotels where we could talk freely, away from prying eyes. One such meeting took place on a chilly evening in mid-December. I met with Daniel, a seasoned strategist who had once mentored me during the early days of my career. His presence exuded a calm authority, and his eyes sparkled with the kind of wisdom earned through years of navigating corporate mazes. We sat in a secluded corner of a familiar cafe, the aroma of freshly ground coffee mingling with the low hum of quiet conversation. Daniel looked at me intently and said, "Your dismissal, as harsh as it was, has given you something many never get, a fresh start. But remember, revenge isn't just about retribution. It's about building something that stands as a testament to your true worth. I can help you craft strategies that will disrupt the old order and pave the way for your new empire." His words were both comforting and galvanizing. I shared with him every detail of the plan I had begun to map out, the meticulous record-keeping, the secret blog where I had already started sharing my journey, and the first outlines of our online platform. Daniel nodded thoughtfully, scribbling notes on a napkin with rapid precision. Later that week, I reached out to Laura, a former legal advisor who had once worked with me on several high-stakes projects. Over a secure video call, she agreed to lend her expertise. Her sharp legal mind would ensure that every contractual nuance, every potential loophole, was addressed. "You're building more than a business," she said firmly. "You're building a legacy, and legacies must be protected at all costs." The network quickly expanded. I found that many former colleagues and even rivals, those who had felt marginalized by the very system that had betrayed me, were eager to join the cause. We formed a loose coalition of like-minded individuals, each contributing their skills. Some were financial analysts, others marketing experts, and a few even were tech-savvy developers. Every new alliance was celebrated as a small victory, building block in the foundation of our impending comeback. As the project moved from the planning phase to execution, we encountered a series of trials that tested our resolve. One rainy morning, I received an email from a potential investor whose tone was condescending yet intriguing. The subject line read, "Revenge, a risky business." In the body, he questioned whether our venture could survive in the brutal market of corporate vindication. His skepticism stung, but it also pushed us to refine our pitch and solidify our strategy even further. During one particularly grueling week, our website's beta version crashed not once, but 3 times in a single day. Frustration gave way to frantic debugging sessions that stretched late into the night. I recall sitting beside Sarah in the darkened office, illuminated only by the glow of our computer screens. "This is it," I muttered, exasperated. "If we can survive this, nothing can stop us." Sarah smiled, her eyes reflecting both exhaustion and unyielding determination. "Every glitch is just another chance for us to prove that we're better than the system that tried to break us." Her words, a mixture of humor and steely resolve, lightened the mood just enough to push us forward. Our setbacks were numerous. Technical difficulties, last-minute investor cancellations, and even sporadic power outages threatened to derail our progress. But with each challenge, we adapted and learned. I began to incorporate even more detailed contingency plans, ensuring that every aspect of our operations was robust enough to withstand unforeseen obstacles. One breakthrough came unexpectedly. In the middle of a seemingly endless debugging session, a software engineer from our newly formed alliance discovered a critical flaw in our code, one that, once fixed, would enhance the website's performance exponentially. The excitement was palpable. We celebrated with a round of high fives and a shared sense of victory that momentarily washed away the weeks of hardship. It was in these moments of camaraderie that I truly felt the power of our collective spirit. The idea that, even when individually bruised by corporate betrayal, together we could form something unbreakable. As the launch date for our online platform drew near, the tension among our group grew increasingly palpable. Every member of our alliance was acutely aware that our success would not only be a personal vindication, but also a powerful statement against the old guard, the very corporate system that had once cast me aside. Late one night, as I sat in a quiet corner of our temporary headquarters, reviewing our final preparations, my phone buzzed with a message from Daniel. "Remember, every detail matters. The world will judge you not only by your success, but by the story you tell along the way. Stay true to your vision." Those words echoed in my mind as I meticulously checked every element of our platform. The user interface, the hidden Easter eggs, even the tone of the welcome message that greeted each visitor. I recalled all the moments of doubt and every painful reminder of my past dismissal, and I felt that familiar surge of defiance. We scheduled a series of final meetings with key investors and legal advisors. In one particularly tense boardroom meeting, I faced a panel of investors who questioned our ability to disrupt the market. Their voices overlapped, some skeptical, others curious, but all of them unaware of the depth of our planning. I stood up, my heart pounding, and began to present our detailed strategy. We are not here to simply create another business. We are here to redefine what it means to be undervalued, to take the injustice of a single moment and turn it into an avalanche of change. Our platform represents every ounce of passion, every sleepless night, and every setback that has fueled our determination. My words, spoken with both conviction and a subtle undercurrent of humor, gradually silenced the room. I noticed nods, exchanged glances among the panel members, and for a brief moment, I believed that they finally understood our vision. After the meeting, as the adrenaline of the presentation began to subside, one investor leaned over and said quietly, You've got something extraordinary here. It's more than just revenge. It's a revolution." That affirmation, delivered in a hushed tone, cemented my resolve. I realized that our venture was not just about personal vindication. It was about challenging the very structures that had once deemed us disposable. In the days leading up to our official launch, every moment was charged with an electric mix of anxiety and anticipation. Our office, once a chaotic blend of scattered papers and frantic energy, had transformed into a well-oiled machine. We ran through countless simulations of the website's performance, ensured that every security protocol was in place, and even rehearsed our public launch presentations down to the final word. I remember one early morning when the sky was painted with the soft hues of dawn. Sarah and I sat in front of our computer, watching as the final touches were applied to the website. There was an almost tangible silence as we took in the culmination of our hard work. Then, with a shared look of determination, we clicked the launch button. In that instant, our platform went live, a digital manifestation of our journey from rejection to resilience. Notifications began to pour in from early users, compliments on the design, the intuitive interface, and the subtle, empowering messages woven throughout the site. Every comment, every piece of positive feedback felt like a small victory, a sign that we had not only met but exceeded our own expectations. As the day unfolded, social media began to buzz with excitement. The narrative we had built over months, of betrayal, of planning, and of an unstoppable comeback, resonated with countless people. Comments ranged from expressions of solidarity to declarations that our story was an inspiration to those who had ever been wronged by an indifferent system. I watched, heart swelling with a mixture of pride and relief, as our digital presence grew exponentially. The day of the public unveiling arrived with the promise of an electric storm. The venue, a modern glass-walled auditorium in the heart of the city, was packed with reporters, industry influencers, and former colleagues whose eyes reflected equal parts curiosity and skepticism. Outside, dark clouds gathered as if nature itself were conspiring to add gravity to the moment. I stood backstage, my heart pounding in synchrony with the distant rumble of thunder. Every detail of the months-long journey had led to this singular moment. I adjusted my tailored blazer, glanced at the carefully rehearsed speech on my tablet, and took one last deep breath before stepping into the glare of the spotlights. As I walked to the center of the stage, the lights dimmed and then flared, revealing a sea of expectant faces. A giant digital screen behind me began a dramatic montage, flickering images of long, sleepless nights, whiteboard sessions with Sarah, encrypted messages exchanged with Daniel and Laura, and glimpses of our early website prototypes. The montage was set to a haunting musical score that built tension with every passing second. When the montage ended, silence fell over the room. I began in a clear, steady voice. "Good evening." For 15 years, I devoted every ounce of my energy, my creativity, and my passion to a company that claimed to value hard work and loyalty. Yet, in a single, heartless moment, I was cast aside without explanation. Tonight, I stand before you not as a broken employee, but as a visionary who has turned betrayal into the foundation of a new beginning. My words hung in the air as the camera panned across the audience, faces lit with shock, admiration, and in some, a touch of envy. I continued, my voice gaining strength with each syllable. This is not merely a comeback. This is the birth of an empire built on resilience, innovation, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Today, I am proud to unveil our new online platform, a digital haven that celebrates the spirit of those who refuse to be defined by failure. It is a testament to the fact that sometimes the harshest setbacks pave the way for the most extraordinary triumphs. At that moment, a series of live social media feeds flashed on the screen behind me. Tweets, Instagram stories, and Facebook posts from viewers who were already captivated by the unfolding drama. The buzz was immediate and overwhelming, a digital chorus of support that validated every painful moment of the past. The unveiling was not merely about the new platform. It was a declaration of war against the system that had once discarded me so casually. As I outlined the features of our platform, its user-friendly interface, innovative design, and unique community-driven features, I made sure every word carried a dual meaning: a celebration of our technological breakthrough and a subtle dig at the corporate world that had once spurned me. I paused, letting the weight of my words settle over the audience. Then I said, "You see, while they expected me to crumble, I was busy building a foundation that would one day shake the very pillars of this corporate system. And tonight, I am proud to say, the revenge avalanche has begun." A ripple of applause and cheers swept through the auditorium. In that instant, the atmosphere transformed from one of cautious optimism to explosive excitement. Reporters furiously scribbled notes as cameras captured every nuance of the moment. I could see the eyes of former colleagues glistening with both admiration and regret, while some of the very executives who had dismissed me now exchanged uneasy glances. As the presentation moved into a live demonstration of the platform, Sarah joined me on stage. With practiced ease, she navigated the website's features while I narrated its significance. Our dialogue was seamless, interweaving technical details with the broader narrative of resilience and empowerment. Sarah remarked, "Every element here is designed to honor those who were once overlooked. A digital space where your worth isn't measured by corporate decrees, but by your passion and determination." I added, "We're not just launching a business. We're igniting a movement. A collective uprising against a system that thrives on mediocrity and indifference." The energy was palpable. As the demonstration concluded, the lights brightened, and the audience erupted into a standing ovation. Amid the clamor, my phone buzzed incessantly with notifications, messages from supporters, investors eager to get on board, and even dissenting voices from those threatened by the shift in power. Dynamics. Just when it seemed that the event had reached its zenith, an unexpected twist unfolded that left everyone in a state of electrified suspense. As I stepped away from the podium, a familiar figure emerged from the crowd. My former boss, the man whose cold dismissal had been the catalyst for this entire journey. His presence was like a bolt of lightning, freezing the moment in time. He made his way slowly to the stage, his expression a mix of defiance and uncertainty. The room fell silent once more, every eye fixed on him. For a brief, heart-stopping moment, I could see the internal conflict in his eyes. A flicker of regret, or perhaps a realization that his world was beginning to crumble. With a measured step, he approached the microphone that had once been mine. His voice, when he finally spoke, was subdued yet laced with the authority of someone who had lived through the consequences of their decisions. I once believed that loyalty was rewarded. Today, I see that sometimes those who are cast aside are the ones who truly rise. The statement, delivered in a tone that betrayed both pride and a hint of remorse, sent another surge of murmurs through the crowd. It was as if, in that unexpected moment, the tables had turned. My former boss had become a part of the narrative, a living testament to the idea that no system is infallible. I watched him for a long moment, my heart a mix of vindication and a tinge of sadness for the lost opportunity of redemption. The moment was not one of victory over him alone, but a revelation that the journey of transformation is as much about the fallen as it is about the triumphant. In the weeks that followed the public unveiling, the repercussions of our launch rippled through the industry like an avalanche. The media fever was relentless. Headlines screamed of a revenge avalanche shaking the corporate world, and social media exploded with accounts of how one fired employee had turned her dismissal into an empire. Investors lined up to partner with us, each eager to be a part of this revolution. Former colleagues reached out with offers to join our cause, and even some of the executives from my previous workplace began to question their own loyalties and the ethics of their leadership. It was a time of rapid, almost chaotic change. One where every piece of evidence, every success story, contributed to dismantling the old order. I spent long nights in conference rooms and strategy sessions, mapping out the next phases of expansion. Every meeting was filled with passionate debates about how to further disrupt the market and empower those who had been marginalized. There were moments of intense celebration as we broke sales records, secured new partnerships, and saw our community of supporters grow exponentially. But there were also moments of quiet reflection, when I would sit alone and revisit the painful memory of my dismissal, a reminder of why I had fought so hard to create this new reality. During one such reflective evening, as I reviewed the latest analytics from our platform and read heartfelt messages from users whose lives had been transformed by our initiative, I realized that our success was not solely my own. It was the culmination of every setback, every late-night discussion, and every spark of hope ignited by the belief that we could all rise above the corporate machinery that had once oppressed us. The revenge avalanche was not just a personal triumph. It was a beacon for anyone who had ever been undervalued or discarded. As our platform continued to evolve, I made it a point to mentor aspiring entrepreneurs, sharing not just the technical strategies for success, but also the emotional resilience required to face betrayal head-on. My story, once shrouded in pain and isolation, had become a rallying cry, a call to arms for those who dared to dream and defy the status quo. In the weeks following the explosive public unveiling, the shockwaves of our revenge avalanche rippled through every corner of the corporate world. The fallout was immediate and unyielding. Legal inquiries were launched, the media relentlessly scrutinized every detail, and investors clamored to become part of this new movement. Every day, as I sat in my sleek modern office, now a symbol of the empire I was building, I could feel the ground shifting beneath the old regime. I recall one particularly stormy afternoon, when thunder rolled across the skyline as if echoing the tumult of our triumph. I was in a long, glass-walled conference room with Laura, Michael, and a team of legal experts gathered around a massive table. The room was filled with the scent of fresh coffee and the muted hum of high-stakes strategy sessions. Laura began, her voice measured yet fervent. The regulators have now frozen all assets linked to his offshore accounts. Our evidence is irrefutable, and legal action is imminent. This is the moment when the old guard finally begins to crumble. Michael leaned forward, his eyes shining with determination, as he tapped on his tablet to display a series of charts that tracked the disintegration of his financial web. Every transaction we've uncovered, every hidden link in his network, is coming to light. It's only a matter of time before his empire is dismantled piece by piece. I listened intently, feeling a mixture of vindication and a profound responsibility. This was more than just personal revenge. It was a statement against a system that had long oppressed the dedicated and the loyal. As I gazed out the window at the rain-soaked city, I thought of every sleepless night spent piecing together our strategy every moment of bitter betrayal that had fueled my determination. With the evidence mounting and the legal machinery now in motion, I felt an overwhelming clarity. I knew that this reckoning was not only a victory for me, but a beacon for countless others who had suffered under corporate indifference. I rose from my seat and addressed the room. Today, we are not merely witnessing the downfall of a corrupt system. We are witnessing the birth of a new era, one where every individual is valued for their hard work and resilience, and where betrayal is met with unyielding justice. The words resonated throughout the room, and as we began to finalize our next moves, I could sense that a seismic shift was taking place. The final reckoning was here, and with it came the promise of transformation. The aftermath of the legal storm was as transformative as it was cathartic. Over the next several months, news outlets published headlines celebrating the downfall of a once untouchable executive, and the story of our revenge avalanche became a rallying cry for the disenchanted. I found myself being invited to speak at conferences, seminars, and televised interviews. Yet, amid the whirlwind of public attention, I never lost sight of why I had embarked on this journey. Late one evening, after a particularly intense roundtable discussion with young entrepreneurs eager to learn from my experience, I stepped out onto the balcony of my headquarters. The city below was alive with twinkling lights, each a tiny beacon of hope in the dark. The air was cool, carrying whispers of change. I leaned against the balcony railing, letting the silence envelop me. In that quiet moment, memories of the past, the shock of my dismissal, the pain of betrayal, and the painstaking journey of reinvention merged with the promise of a new dawn. A soft voice broke the silence. It was Sarah, who had joined me on the balcony. "It feels surreal, doesn't it?" she said softly, her eyes scanning the horizon as if searching for signs of the future. I nodded, replying, "It's not just about revenge anymore. It's about reclaiming our dignity and proving that we can rise from the ashes even stronger than before." Her words were a balm to my weary soul, reaffirming the belief that our struggle had been the catalyst for something far greater than personal vindication. Our journey was becoming a movement, a revolution that challenged outdated systems and empowered those who had been left behind. As the months turned into a year, our new venture blossomed into a multifaceted empire. We diversified our offerings, expanded our digital platform, and even established a mentoring program for aspiring entrepreneurs. Every success, every new partnership, was a testament to the power of resilience and the unbreakable human spirit. One crisp autumn day, I received an invitation to attend a prestigious award ceremony where I was to be recognized not only for our business achievements, but for the profound impact our journey had on the broader community. Dressed in a sharp suit, I walked the red carpet with a mixture of pride and humility. As flashes from cameras erupted around me, I thought back to that moment when I had first been fired, a moment that had seemed like the end of everything, but which had, in truth, been the beginning of a remarkable transformation. During my acceptance speech, I spoke with heartfelt sincerity. There was a time when I was cast aside, betrayed by those I trusted, but that very moment ignited a fire within me, a fire that drove me to build an empire from the ruins. Today, I stand before you not as a victim, but as a testament to the fact that every ending is the start of something new. Let my story be a reminder that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always comes. The applause was thunderous, echoing, far beyond the walls of the auditorium. In that moment, I knew that our struggle had not only redefined my own destiny, but had also paved the way for countless others to believe in the power of their own resilience. Years later, as I reflect on the journey that brought me here, I am filled with a deep sense of gratitude and purpose. The revenge avalanche was never just about settling a score with a callous boss. It was about challenging a system that devalues loyalty and hard work. It was about transforming pain into power and betrayal into a force for change. I now run a thriving empire that spans multiple industries. Each venture a tribute to the idea that every setback is an opportunity for reinvention. Our digital platform has grown into a community where individuals share their stories of struggle and success, inspiring one another to rise above adversity. The mentorship programs we established have empowered hundreds of budding entrepreneurs to follow their dreams, armed with the belief that they too can overcome the odds. Every day, as I walk through the halls of my headquarters, a building once symbolizing corporate indifference that now pulses with the energy of innovation and empowerment, I am reminded of the journey that forged this new reality. The walls are adorned with photographs, newspaper clippings, and handwritten notes that chronicle every twist and turn of our path. They serve as daily reminders of the power of persistence and the importance of standing up for one's worth. I often visit the small, quiet study in the corner of the building, where I keep mementos of the past, the sealed envelope that once signified my dismissal, the old notebook filled with dreams and plans, and a framed photograph of the day I decided to change everything. In those reflective moments, I see not the scars of betrayal, but the symbols of rebirth. A living reminder that every end is merely a prelude to a new beginning. In my public speeches and interviews, I continue to share my story with raw honesty, emphasizing that success is not defined by the comforts of a secure position, but by the courage to face rejection and turn it into an opportunity. Every moment of pain, I often say, is a chance to build something extraordinary. Embrace your struggles, for they are the stepping stones to your greatest triumphs. As the legacy of my journey unfolds, I am committed to ensuring that the lessons learned are never forgotten. I have established foundations, scholarship programs, and community initiatives that honor those who have been overlooked, empowering them to rise and reclaim their power. The empire I built is not merely a collection of businesses. It is a testament to the transformative power of resilience and the unwavering belief in one's potential.